What's going on, y'all? Corpus Christi Originals back at it again, coming to you live from the Produce Sound Studios, downtown Corpus Christi, Texas. Got the art walk later on. Check that out. This episode sponsored by El Vago Burger and Barbecue. Check them out, 4701 Barrera Drive, out there in Molina. Check them out if you haven't already. Today we got Pam Chavez from Sam and Louie's Pizzeria. How's it going, Pam?
It's going all right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's cool. I like your last name,
Thank
Chavez.
you.
Is it, so? That's not your maiden name, or it is your maiden name?
No, it's not my maiden name.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I mean, my boys, like, they're, I just want to keep the last name of my boys, at least for
Hmm.
now, until maybe they're adults or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a tie to my maiden name anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll
Did you
keep.
like your maiden name?
I mean, it was okay. It was okay. My family's not in my life anymore. So,
Oh.
my boys are sort of my world.
Oh, no
So, I'll
kidding.
keep that tie with them.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
when you say your family's not in your life, like, are they still around? Like they're
Yes,
still
they're
okay,
still
okay,
around. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Boundaries have been set.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh
Yes,
my God. Yes. Wow. And it's not until we figure it out later in life that we need to make those boundaries, right?
exactly. Yes,
Oh my
yes,
God. A
yes.
lot of us older folks, well, myself being older, like we figured that out later.
Right.
I wish we would have figured it out sooner.
I know. Well, it's not easy, and you hear so much, and it's tough to say that because people will think, "Oh my gosh, you cut family out," but there's a reason,
Yes.
many, and
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot more than just one,
Yes.
and you sort of realize how important it is when you start setting those boundaries and start removing some of the toxic things that were
Yes.
happening, and then try not to pass those things down to your kids.
Oh yeah. I know you mentioned that in Brittany Mute. Shout out Brittany Mute.
Yes,
Leading ladies,
Brittany.
yes, leading ladies of Corpus Christi,
So
awesome
good.
podcast. Which I listened to the whole thing, your episode,
Thank
her.
you.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, your life is so
There's a
wow.
lot
You've been through a
there.
lot of stuff. I didn't. So where are you from originally? I don't think I caught that in
Okay,
there.
so I was born and raised in Kansas. I lived
Okay.
there from like birth until graduating high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kansas, is that right in the middle or?
It is. It's
Okay.
the Midwest. Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Hi, Priscilla, and YouTube. You know
Hi,
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had her
Big
on also.
supporter.
Big supporter for real. So how
Yeah.
does that feel to have that kind of support in the community?
Oh, it's amazing. Like I didn't know how it was going to be because I'm not local. And like there is such a tight local community. I mean, there's a lot of people in Corpus that haven't lived anywhere else. And I
Oh yeah.
have lived so many places.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how welcoming it would be.
Hmm.
And no, it's incredible. There's so many supportive
Yeah.
local, especially women. Like
Oh.
I've met so many good women. Not to
Hmm.
discount the men,
Oh
but
yeah.
like
Right.
I've just met so many great
You have to
women
say that.
here.
No.
Yeah. Gotta make sure I cover that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
covered that.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I made a post about somebody was saying how Corpus Christi is crooked or whatever, and you mentioned in
Yeah.
your comment like you
Yes.
never been nowhere.
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere,
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be the good, the bad, and the ugly, and
Hmm.
it's just sort of what you choose to focus on is what you're gonna see,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like there's families and people that have never gotten out of here, and they stayed here. They've
Right.
been here the whole life.
Yeah, and I think that's the importance of travel, even if it's just to somewhere else in Texas, because the vibe's going to be a little bit different.
Hmm.
It opens your eyes and then it makes you appreciate where you came from.
Exactly. And when you do move out of town, like from my experience, when I do move out of town, like and people ask me where I'm from, then there's a sense of pride that comes
Yes,
up, like, oh, this is
exactly.
where I'm from. Do you know of
Yeah.
it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that's
Corpus is growing and expanding like crazy. I
yeah.
mean, it's shifting and evolving constantly.
Yeah. So how did you land on pizza? Like, I mean, there's a Mexican restaurant every corner. So you
Right.
decided like pizza, which it's good. If you haven't tried it out, guys, try it out. It's authentic.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, part of it is I have three boys. So,
mhm.
I mean, we just eat a ton of pizza in my house.
Yeah.
And so, just a quick backstory. So, I was in the military, and when I got out, I went to culinary school. And then I became a certified holistic nutritionist. So, when we moved here, I was looking for what I was going to be doing, sort of that hole I was going to fill. And then all of a sudden I just realized we couldn't find our favorite pizza spot. So I just thought, well, that's it. I mean, I can do that. So I wanted to bring pizza that was going to sort of pull from all aspects of my foodie
Wow, great.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going, Francesca? Thank you for joining. My daughter's always on YouTube.
Oh,
You always make sure that
hi,
I have.
Francesca.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Wow. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So you landed on the pizza, and then you talk about like you being divorced and all this stuff on your posts,
Yeah.
which you're open, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, and like I want to say how hard, difficult, or what are the challenges that you faced in having or starting that and then having that go through that at the same time, because
Yeah.
you have 3 kids, and it's
Right.
like,
Well, that was a big reason why I went through it. I mean,
mm-hmm,
I just needed to get something happening. When I realized that my marriage needed to end,
mm-hmm,
it was a very scary place to be in
mm-hmm,
because I had been a stay-at-home mom sort
yeah,
of by default. I wasn't necessarily planning on doing that,
right,
but he was gone so much for the army
mm-hmm,
that I wanted to be like a stable force for the
mm-hmm,
kids. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I'm going to be a single parent. Like
mm-hmm,
now I've sacrificed career progression,
yeah,
basically career at all. So I had these degrees. I started, and then I launched a wellness business for military spouses when we were in
like
Korea.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, I just, it was like I had to just get my feet wet and start going. And we were in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when like an episode happened in my marriage
Oh yeah.
shortly after getting there. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to get out. And now I'm in Korea and I can't take these boys and
Wow.
fly back. So we got to make it happen. So I started giving cooking classes and tours of the outdoor market.
Wow.
And, it was very grassroots. I just started hustling basically and building a business.
Wow. So you had that little bit of that experience while you were married,
Yes.
and you were outside of the military at the time. Your husband
Yes.
was in the military.
Right.
Wow. So you had to. I mean, it's not necessarily that you needed that money coming in, or that's
Well,
something that you.
I mean, I did. Basically, what I was doing was building a resume. That was when we came back to the States, that was going to help me with getting a career. And then I
Okay.
discovered that I actually really liked working for myself and that I was pretty
Wow.
darn good at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for
it
sure.
all sort of just kept evolving
Wow, that's
as it
amazing.
went.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. You mentioned, I think in the podcast that your folks were so like just get a normal job, 9 to 5,
Right.
whatever, and
Yes, because
and
my dad's a physician, so he's a family physician. So
mhm.
they were very traditional, very conservative, and that's like not me.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
it's hard for parents to sometimes accept.
Wow.
And so when I got into like holistic health and stuff, that just felt very like hippie like for them.
Wow. Wow, I could see that. Wow.
Yes.
So I guess that's one of the boundaries that you have to set. No, this is what I'm gonna do.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And Matt, so I guess maybe one of the reasons that you came upon holistic was because of you had a couple miscarriages in
Yes.
your. Oh man, that.
Multiple. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And that was rough, obviously.
Hmm.
And so the insurance was like, well, you need to have 4, and I'd only had 3 in their
Come on.
eyes, right? I know. They're
Wow.
like, that's not enough loss.
Oh my
They
God, for
really
real.
saw it as a number. They weren't like
That
viewing
sucks.
it like how
Yeah.
I was feeling it.
Hmm.
And so I just needed to alleviate the guilt I was feeling, even though they said everything's normal, everything's great. I'm like, okay, well, I just feel like my body should be doing this natural thing and it's not. And
Hmm.
I just started self-educating, and we lived in Washington State at the time, which was a great place
Hmm.
to sort of get into like organic and
Wow.
Eastern medicine.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
dabbled with acupuncture and all of
Wow.
that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Did you have any kids before those had happened, or?
no.
Oh, so it was
Yeah,
all.
so
Oh
that
my
was like it
God.
was like a couple years of several miscarriages and
Yeah.
then him always sort of coming and going, and yeah, it just made starting a family super stressful.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh wow, man.
it's
So
brutal.
so brutal. Like how is those? I guess those tragedies. How did you come out from that? Like, how did you find yourself
Well, I mean, I
continuing
got a
to?
degree in, holistic wellness.
So that did
So,
help out.
yes. Oh, no,
Oh wow.
because
Okay.
then I got into all of that and it was like I felt like found my people,
Oh,
because I'd grown up in like this traditional medicine and I love that too. It's very beneficial and we need it.
hmm,
But I had always sort of like been intrigued by alternative things and stuff. So, it just seemed to make sense and felt like I found like a groove that I hadn't known about.
cool.
So then I went back to school, had the GI Bill, thankfully, no
Yeah.
student debt.
Nice.
So yeah, I was able to get that degree
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
So you got the holistic certification and then
Culinary
culinary.
degree.
Ooh,
And
come
then
on.
just in the last few years, I got my bachelor's in marketing and used
Wow.
up the last bit of that GI Bill.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, well, that's obviously helping out because I see your ads
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes. I love marketing. I really do storytelling. So, and I'm sort of intrigued by, I mean, it's always like that. There's different way for people to sell stuff. And I really like the authentic,
Yeah.
transparent type of marketing that is
Yes.
like rooted in truth. And there's the people that do it another way. And
Interesting.
so, right. And so I found and then followed and then learned from the people that modeled
Hmm.
the way that I like it.
Wow.
And so, storytelling is kind of my thing too. I enjoy writing and stuff like that. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So you are you gonna have a book coming
Oh,
out in
I
the
will have
future?
a book.
Probably, I bet you.
Absolutely. I've already got part of it
Oh,
written.
come
Yeah.
on, I
Yeah.
already
Yeah. Yeah.
know, dude. That's awesome. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so that marketing degree that I mentioned that would help out your
It
business.
does help tremendously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, that's cool. So you got your bachelor's, you got all this stuff going on. Your kids, like, are your sons involved in your business at all?
I mean, a little bit. I'm hoping that they'll get more involved.
Hmm.
My 13-year-old, he's much more sort of intrigued with like making money, getting in
Yeah.
there. He's gotten behind the register and helped out. He's washed dishes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My youngest went in there and tried to help bag a little bit of cheese. And literally within 5 minutes, he's like, this sucks. And I don't want to work anymore. I don't care about the money. So.
Wow, that's funny. Do you use local suppliers at all, or how do you approach that for your?
Well, because it is a franchise, I do need to use the corporate account, which is with
Okay.
Visco. Yeah, but
Cisco.
I
Oh,
did
okay.
just get Nueces beer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Wow, that's a
got that
lot.
delivered today.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's awesome.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and you pitch to the franchise.
Yeah, to sort of shake things up just a little bit
Really?
and shift things. Yeah, so my menu is a bit different. I have a handful of my recipes on there. I cut out a lot of the stuff. I cut out like all the deep fried stuff. Being a holistic nutritionist, I didn't want fried foods.
Hmm.
Didn't align with me, and like I joked with you earlier, I feel like that market's covered here.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. And so got rid of like the burgers and the sandwiches and the pastas and really just wanted to focus in on the pizzas.
Hmm.
Like we make our dough fresh every day, our sauce fresh every day. And I just really wanted to offer like high quality specialty pizzas and a large variety of it. And
Wow.
I really like a focused menu.
Mm.
I struggle when I go into a restaurant and you see like Asian, Mexican, Italian, and it's all on one menu. I
Wow.
feel like I really like a focused menu. So,
So is it like a certain, I guess, like culture, or how do you look at it to have to how do you go about focusing it?
well, I mean, so it's all like focused in on what's made with the homemade dough.
Okay.
So it's like all the different pizzas, and then we have like pesto sauce base, we've got
Nice.
Alfredo sauce base, and then one even has like the red sauce, Alfredo, and pesto, and
Nice.
that's so good. It's like you get a little bit of one and different bits in each bite. And so just trying to cater to like the foodies and bring a lot of fresh veggies,
Oh, nice.
which isn't just the typical black olive, bell pepper, mushroom, onion.
Hmm.
A lot of like vegetarian pizzas or vegetarian dishes and stuff and at pizzerias. It's like they just remove the meat and then have the veggies of what's on a supreme. I've brought in like spinach and artichoke dip pizza. You know, there's zucchini and artichokes
Wow.
and goat cheese and all that stuff. So
So is it really? So yeah, my wife.
just trying to bring variety
Yes.
that's not just the same old veggies you always get. And then vegan and
Yeah.
dairy free. There's so many parents that come in and say their kids are allergic to dairy and they didn't enjoy pizza for so long and they felt left out and now they love it and feel like they're part of everything. So
Nice.
they're so happy.
So how do you get people to get into that type of stuff because we're so used to just the regular.
I don't know that I'm necessarily trying to convince anybody to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm more so there for the people that are.
Right,
And that's what
yes.
they're looking for.
Nice.
And that's what they want.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll come in and they'll be like, "Ooh, what's that?" And then they're like, "Oh, that's the spinach artichoke dip." And they're like, "Oh, that's good. Well, you can get it by the slice." We cook everything by the slice, fresh to order, because I
Nice.
want like the highest quality. And so a lot of people will order a pizza and they'll get one slice of something to dabble and test the waters.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I was looking at your Google reviews on there, and of course, like you got good ones and you got the bad ones. So
Of
how do you,
course.
yeah, like, and then some of them are even like employees that you had
Oh, that's
there.
always fun.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you go about doing
I
it?
just don't even take that personal. Like, I know at this point, having dealt with employees and stuff, that I can tell when I read a review because I truly want the feedback. I can tell if it's just really somebody who's kind of evil and disgruntled. And I'm able to kind of let those roll off, honestly, because you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But truly, if they're, I mean, I have made changes based off of feedback because I'm like, okay, if this is a thing, like, let's look at this. Is this something that we need to evaluate? And sometimes you do. Thankfully, the positive ones far outweigh the negative. I
Yeah.
mean, but nobody's ever perfect. So,
That's true.
like, we need to learn and grow and keep growing. So,
Yeah. Don't get stuck on the negative, even though it's hard, sometimes
yeah.
it's hard. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's gonna hurt your ego at
Yeah.
first, and then it's like, okay, what can we get from this? And if
Right.
it's a disgruntled employee, I'm kind of like, okay, you know,
I can see why.
yeah, eat
Yeah.
rocks, like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you about your employee. Like, how do you go about finding your employees for your
Oh
restaurant?
my gosh,
Is
it's a
that
struggle.
is it? Do you have like a turnaround, like a high turnaround,
Oh
or
my gosh, I think everybody does. It's the story I hear from most
yeah?
places. Yeah, because I mean, hospitality, and I've been in it forever. I was a server,
Mm-hmm.
those were my jobs in the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's really, it's not usually somebody's end game. We're a pit stop along the way of them sorting out and figuring out their life.
Yeah.
So if
Wow.
anything ever comes along and sounds better or anything like that, like they're just gonna go,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
It's not like, and if you try to, it's difficult too because you have to like pay them more. You got to figure out the business budget and
Yes, and
all
there's the
that
whole
stuff too.
training thing. So it's like they got to learn how to stretch dough. There's a learning curve there. It's not like you can't learn. It's all skills. It just needs to be learned, but it takes practice and topping the pizzas correctly and all of that. And so they're always going to make mistakes in the beginning and put this on or not that on, and you're throwing stuff away or like giving it away, because and so, and then when they leave after like 2 or 3 weeks, and you're like, oh, I just lost all of that. But
Uh,
it's part of it. It is part of it, especially right now in this economy.
wow. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so crazy right now,
it's
isn't it?
crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How do we? It's like how do we deal with that?
It's all I've known.
Uh-huh.
So it's like my normal. But I talk to people that opened before, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it hasn't always been like that. Well, maybe we'll get back there. We'll see.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I love it. I love it. I love the sweet and the salty. So I'm like a pepperoni pineapple
All
person.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could only eat one type of pizza for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I'd probably go classic pepperoni.
Classic
If
pepperoni.
it's just one type.
Oh,
Yeah.
just one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta have a bunch of different meats on
Well,
there.
I mean, yes. I mean, I would love like some. Well, pepperoni and mushroom is kind of my go-to lately, which is a big Corpus favorite. Like
Is
I
it
hadn't
really?
even had that, and
Wow.
then so many people get it that I was like,
Wow.
let me give this a go. It's not
Yeah.
bad. You get like the earthy umami with like the salty pepperoni. So
Priscilla said pineapple.
She's a
Dana.
fan.
Oh,
She's a
nice.
fan.
Dana Gillette. Can't wait to try the spinach dip pizza.
And that's my best friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
She just turned 50 yesterday. Happy birthday, Dana.
Yeah, happy birthday. That's awesome. Wow, Italian and three beautiful
Yes,
sauces.
Italy and three beautiful sauces. That's it.
Okay.
That's the one with the Alfredo, the pesto, and the marinara.
Cheese
Chicken.
only
Yep,
or?
it has chicken, red bell peppers, and then cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice. So how
so
did you
good.
decide on that spot right there where you're at on
Oh gosh,
Staples?
that was a whole thing too. I mean, I looked at so many
You did.
places. It took a year to get open. It was a lot longer than I
Really?
expected.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was tough because like so many of the spots I would see were like all burnt down on the inside. It's
Ooh.
amazing how many restaurants burn down.
Oh my God, for
Yeah,
real.
it's crazy. And so I landed on this one after months of looking, and I
Hmm.
was like, this is it. I want it. I need it.
Yeah.
It's kind of tucked there in the corner, but there's ample parking, which in a lot of those plazas, you
Mm.
just don't get
I
tons
know.
of parking. Walmart's right there, so you get a lot of traffic coming in.
Parking lot's not all thrashed. It's
Right.
cement. Yeah, it looks. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it is like it's so windy here. I feel like trash is always blowing everywhere. But
Yeah.
but no, it is. It's a really good location. I'm super happy
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
That's good. So building relationships with local supplier, not that one. What is the key to engagement of the local community, or do you look at that at
Oh
all?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, so before I opened, I was just going out and meeting, like going and visiting the other local places, introducing myself, going to the events,
Wow.
like getting to know people that attended those things and just networking with other entrepreneurs, because
Hmm.
we sort of think the same way, enjoy the same type of things, are a little bit different and creative.
Mm.
And I just enjoy being around people like that and that support people like that. So
Yeah.
that's how I started building so many of the friendships. I mean, I feel like they're really my friends now
Yeah.
and supporters.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there was any kind of like maybe kickback while you were doing that stuff? Because it seems like in every industry, there's always some kind of beef. You know what I mean? And of course, you stay away from it. I
I
try
mean,
to.
maybe there was, and I just didn't even just give that life.
Yeah.
I really just genuinely wanted to get to know people because
Yeah.
that's what I enjoy doing.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I just don't even think I paid attention to that if there was, honestly. Yeah.
So how did you was it natural for you or normal for you to like want to talk to people? I mean,
I love talking to people.
okay.
And I can talk about, I mean, everybody can talk about food.
Yeah.
It's such
For
an
sure.
easy way to get a
Oh
conversation
yeah, for
started.
sure.
Is food. It's
Yeah.
very general. It's not polarizing unless it's like a pineapple or cilantro topic. But but no, I mean, you start talking about food with people and like
Yeah.
even the most uncomfortable person will like get engaged with
Yeah.
you. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So you landed on the pizzeria.
Yeah.
Actually, why did you decide a franchise?
I think because I was getting divorced and I thought because I had grown my wellness business for like 5 years and I knew I was going to get away from that and was going to go like brick and mortar. And I thought, let me pick a company that has already like the built out policies and procedures
Mm,
and the bulk of what I needed to figure out
right.
done and sort of handed to me, and then see if I could input some of my creativity, which I was thankful they were open to,
Wow.
you know?
So are they still helping you like with that type of stuff? Like,
I mean, they're pretty
do they?
hands off.
Okay.
I'm doing well.
Okay.
So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I could see how that could be helpful instead of just starting from the ground up and not knowing
Yeah, exactly.
anything at all.
Right. Yeah, they helped me pick out all my equipment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. How do
there's
you?
so much involved.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So why did so is that why part of the reason why it took you to so long? Because you said it took a year to open it, right? What are some of the things
Well,
that you had to
a
go
lot of
through?
that was because of supply issues. I
Hmm.
mean, some of it was finding the location, contractor BS, because you go through a lot of that
Yeah.
too. things that come up as you're like building and needing to shift and you discover something
Yeah.
and permits. Oh my gosh, that was a huge hurdle. Just each thing ends up taking so much longer than you thought it
Wow.
was going to. Yeah. And
And
getting equipment delivered
yeah.
was because this was now like a year and a half ago. So or 2.5 years if you're thinking when I was trying to get all that stuff ordered, and some of the stuff was so back ordered.
Wow.
So
Did you have to did you have to get like a loan to get it started or
oh, for sure.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, and at some point did that like stop you from getting something done to where you're like, oh shoot, we're running
That
out
took a
here?
minute to do the loan. So I worked with the Small Business Development Center, which
Oh
shout
yeah.
out to them. They're so good, super helpful. And I mean, it was so thorough, the business plan that we came up with, and it took so long, but it got me my loan because we were so thorough. And it also taught me so much
Really?
too. Yeah, because they had me think about things that just were not on my
Like what? Like
radar.
okay.
Oh, just so much of the business aspect and the
Oh
financials and
yes.
planning, and you're projecting out for years. And then your brain is sort of like, oh my God, it just
Yeah.
makes it more real instead of like the airy fairy dream of owning a restaurant. It's like, oh, here's the numbers. This is what I need to do and produce.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is intense.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you were in the military. You were a combat medic.
Yes.
So how has that helped you in the future? Like now, like how has it helped you through?
I mean, I'm a badass.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how
You
it
kidding
helped
me?
me.
Golly.
I
How the
mean, it put me in I was never expecting to go. I came off that year of backpacking, could struggle to find work. Turns out when you sell everything you own and you come back, it's not easy. You have
do
nothing.
you remember what you owned before you sold everything?
Oh my gosh. I condensed everything down to just a backpack that I would carry. So I sold my car, I sold like all my
Wow.
furniture, everything, which was super exciting and so glad I did it. And that year was incredible. But then I came back and I was like, oh God, I don't have anything but this backpack full of stuff I've been wearing for a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
So, yeah. And then I was like, well, that trip showed me that just sort of my intestinal fortitude, I guess. And then
Hmm.
I was like, I can do anything and how fast a year goes. So
Yeah.
I signed up with the Army for 3.
Yeah.
Now looking back, I'm like, why didn't I talk to the Air Force or something? I
Really?
don't know. Yeah, no, I think
Wow.
it's just because like I had family members that had been Army, so I just didn't even think about it. And I
Okay.
was like, and I'll go medic because I am not mechanically inclined and I didn't want to do anything like that. And I was very limited with my military knowledge. So I went in, tested, made it,
Yeah.
signed up, went, did my time, ended up doing a tour in Iraq for a
Yeah.
year. Yeah. And then as soon as they held me for a bit longer, I got stop loss to do the tour,
Hmm.
which was fine. And then came back, got out. And then that was when I started culinary school.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for your service for sure.
Thank you.
In Iraq for a whole year. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say so, and this was later in life, in your 30s, right? You got
Yeah,
into so that's kind of later, and you
it
said that
is. Yeah.
in the Leading Ladies podcast that you knew it was games like
Yeah, that's what
going
I
into
was
this
going to
boot
say.
camp.
Right. Well, I think being older, it's like you just sort of have this like emotional maturity that the 18-year-olds didn't have.
Yeah.
Like I knew I was like, okay, they're going to yell at us. They're going to torture us. This is what they do. And I would just be like, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. Like this sucks, but I got to do it. And people were crying and begging to get out. And I was like, dude, just get through it,
Wow.
you know?
Well, not a lot of people have that
I
perseverance. Like,
guess, yeah, I guess I just thought everybody could like dig into that or
do
something.
you think being raised with three brothers like helped you kind of get through these types of things? Like, how has that helped your?
It definitely, I don't know. I think some of the crap I went through like growing up. So,
Mhm.
I mean, from an outside perspective, everything looked great. We were very well taken care of, and we had the hot meals and the roof and all of that stuff. But I didn't grow up with like love and affection, especially from my mom. Like
Oh,
she
wow.
couldn't say I love you. She didn't really ever hug me, all of that stuff. So I think that sort of in some way toughened me up in a way I didn't want to be toughened up,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of the stuff I had to sort of like process and work out
Crazy.
in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Kind of on your own, like trying to
Yeah,
navigate this.
exactly. Right. But in a sense, I think it just sort of built like a super independent person.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man. It's real tough. Like your mentality is like super tough. It's like I was telling my wife, I was like, "Damn, this lady's been through a lot." And she's still. And I talked to you. We were talking earlier before air, and you were like, "I said you're a busy person." You're like, "Yeah." And I still more stuff that I want to do. I'm like, "Dang,
I
golly."
think my personality thrives on that. If I have too much like downtime,
Mm,
then I can overthink things and stuff. I'm sort of better to just keep going
yeah,
and building.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So are all your sons like that, or is just one of them, or a few of them like that?
It's interesting. I'm still sort of getting to know. I mean, the 14-year-old, God, I never see him anymore right now. He's always holed up in his room,
Oh.
but he is very much a miniature me.
Mm,
So we will see. My middle is very much his dad.
mhm.
And then my youngest is kind of in between both of us. I think he leans a little bit more towards me, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
and thanks for getting the merch for them, which you
Yes,
send.
they love
Yeah,
it.
that's
They love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
So do they listen to do they listen to heavy music, or what kind of music they listen to? Do they put it loud and do they
Oh
put it
my
loud in there?
gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, they love to listen to like a lot of rap and stuff like that. We don't listen to the same music.
Right.
I'm more like the top 40 type, the Katy Perry, the Pink, Lady Gaga, all of that. That's
Yeah.
not, we're always at odds when it comes to music.
Yeah, right on. Man, that's awesome. So, do you find yourself being your mom to them?
No.
And like, how do you find
I
like
mean, that's
because
the,
sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, that my I'm trying to change that.
yeah,
You know what I
no, I've
mean?
done a lot of work. I mean, that was part of why I had to set that boundary. And like, I mean, she would just sort of dip in and out. If I did something that upset her, she would dip out of my life for a couple of years. And it wasn't ever anything like, I mean, she thought it was huge, but comparatively speaking to other people, I never saw it as a reason for a mom to just sort of dip out and then
Oh,
come back and, just had to act like everything was okay and stuff. So that was when I was like, okay, no, you don't get to pick and choose anymore when you're taking part. And so, no, I mean, that's a lot of work of what I've done is to make sure that I'm not, I love that my kiddos, like we say, I love you and we hug all the time. And my 14-year-old still does that, which,
wow.
that kind of shocks me,
Yeah.
because I know at that age that's can feel uncomfortable, but no, it's very, I talk a lot. Anybody that's close to me, not just talk a lot. I talk a lot about my emotions and my feelings, and there's a reason for that. It's because I grew up without that.
Wow.
So I really always want that open communication.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would rather over talk about how we feel than under talk about it.
Oh yeah.
And that's probably my trauma.
Yeah,
But
no, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I didn't learn that till like years into my marriage. Like, okay, dude, you need to communicate with your wife,
yes,
and I never knew how to do
because
that.
then you don't misunderstand each other.
Yes, and you keep working at it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's not a personal attack. It's just an explanation of how they're feeling.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course, you've got to have a good delivery,
Mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Delivery matters. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that was a big part of the downfall of my marriage is that, a lack of being able to express emotions or me being able to be heard or me being able to say things. So
Yeah.
and it wasn't changing, it wasn't improving. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is too much of the same, what I was used to, and I don't want that anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife tries to communicate with me. I'm doing something on the computer. I'm like, just throw a ball, so let me catch it first, and then you have my attention.
All right.
And I'll tell her like, I'm not listening. What'd you say? Yeah, never ending story, and man, for sure. Yeah,
It
and
is, it's hard work.
I definitely hear that. Even with my kids, like I'm wanting them to voice what they're feeling, and
Yes. And they go through so much and they're exposed to so much. And,
yes.
especially my boys, like they don't open up a ton.
Hmm.
And so just letting them know that that is natural and okay and good to open up, you know?
Do you how, it, do you, how do you find yourself helping them? Well, I guess because you mentioned that your husband is still in their lives, so they
Very much so. Yeah. We do week on,
so
week off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it difficult? Do you see that it's difficult for your kids, like going through that type of, I guess, term, what y'all went through or whatever?
I mean, they were. I cannot speak for them. I don't really
Yeah.
know. I know when we told them about the divorce, that was just one of the worst days ever.
Yeah.
We had done a bit of cohabitating because he was going to be retiring from the army.
Hmm.
We knew we were getting divorced, but we wanted to figure out where we were going to land, which
Hmm.
ended up being Corpus.
Corpus, yeah.
Yes. And so it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I want to make sure the kids know that we're cohabitating and this we're not modeling marriage right now, we're modeling something else
Yeah.
because they're not seeing us be affectionate, they're not seeing these things
Let
that
them
I
know what's happening.
yes, because I don't want them to think that that is what a marriage is a lack of a
Wow.
lot of this stuff.
That's what I was trying to get to. Like,
Yeah,
how do you find yourself teaching your kids about marriage or what to look for? Because obviously you got sons, you know what I
right,
mean? And maybe you want them to be in a certain, like I see my son or even my daughter, and I want them to, the best for them, obviously. And it's like, how
right.
do you teach them or show them,
Yeah, I
you know?
mean, I'm as open as possible as I can be age appropriately and
Mm,
also sort of not protecting their dad, but like because I got to own my story and my
mm-hmm,
truth of what happened and everything,
mm-hmm.
without sort of oversharing or being mean,
Crazy, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you're just
So
being a mom. You're just being
right,
who you are. I mean, it's you just figuring it out. Like we're figuring out life as we go. We
yeah,
don't all have it all
exactly.
together,
No,
you
and
know.
shoot, I don't even know because like my
Yeah,
marriage didn't make it.
yeah,
So
yeah, man. Well, we're here now. We're talking about Sam and Louie's Pizza. Who do you got in the chat? Priscilla. She says you're an amazing friend. Dana Gillette says total badass. Yeah, that's awesome. That's wow. So you're getting going. That's awesome. Let me see if I could do a. Let me see a quick question. If you're stranded on a desert island and it could only be bring three things, not people, what would they be?
oh gosh, desert island, three things. I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna have to say the volleyball because
The
played
bottom.
out well, right? For Wilson. Do I need to include food?
Well said.
I mean, you gotta have a little fun, like you gotta have a game or something. Um, oh gosh, that's it. Am I including food? I don't know. Why is this such a tough question? A
We're good.
cat.
A
Gonna
cat.
bring
Okay,
a
for the cat.
cat and avocados.
Yo, man. Do you read a lot? Do you read it
I
all?
love to read, yes, and it's
Yeah.
all like nonfiction.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're constantly learning,
I
constantly.
am constantly learning. Yeah, I love memoirs. I love learning about other people's like life and journey, and then also
Really?
like personal and professional development and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, no, I do. I love that.
Yeah, it's dope. And then
Yeah.
you're obviously writing a book. So is it a nonfiction?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What could it be, right?
What could it be?
That's awesome. Oh man, so a lot of us face like obstacles. I guess entrepreneurs and stuff like that. What mindset or approach do you adopt to preserve through the times, keep moving forward with your vision for Sam and Louise?
Say the first part of that again.
Many entrepreneurs face obstacles that test their resilience and determination.
Yeah.
What mindset or approach do you adopt to preserve?
I mean, I think I'm just always thinking about, I was going to say my end goal, but I don't even know what my end goal is. I mean, I'm just reminding myself of my goals and sort of where
Hmm.
I've come from and what I've been through
Hmm.
and why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a big thing that I tap into constantly to remind myself, like when I first opened, so like the first 9 months, I worked open to close every single day. I had 3 days off. It was Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and Easter. Every single day open to close. I don't even know how I did that now looking back, but it was sheer drive and determination for success to provide a life for my children and myself. So there was just no way I could not do it.
So you're not just, so you weren't just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about
I mean, the
the
kids, it
people.
always takes somebody else. It's funny. Like, it's even like with the marriage ending, that was, I could tolerate stuff for far too long.
Wow.
It was my therapist one day saying to me, would you want your children to be in a marriage that you're in? And that was it.
Oh,
I was like, no, I don't.
wow.
And then it was like, oh, what am I doing? It's like we can make foundational changes because of somebody else. We can't always do it for us. And so sometimes you got to ride that.
Wow, it's amazing. Wow, as a founder, what strategies or practices have you found most effective for fostering a positive work culture among your team members? Well, we kind of touched on that a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's always a work in progress too, you know,
Yeah.
because I was sort of in survival mode for a long time.
Ooh.
So bringing a GM in
Oh,
has
that.
really helped.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
because he can sort of shoulder that stuff.
You take it.
It's yours now.
Yeah, I went in the second time I went in, you were kind of showing up. But the
Yeah.
first time I went, I was like, "Where's she at? She's not here." Because I
Yeah.
usually see you on the Instagram. Doing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can sort of step back now, which is really nice.
That's
I mean,
cool.
there's so many things under the umbrella that I don't have to be in the kitchen now. I can do a lot of the other stuff in the background, which is the marketing and,
Yeah.
you know, all that other stuff.
So yeah, and then you're on Instagram a lot. Like,
Yes.
oh, do you feel that working for your business?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found my people there. So
Cool.
I was just talking about that with the Tuttle's Meat Market was Smokehouse was in the other day, and we were
Yeah.
discussing that, and they were saying they're mostly on Facebook and they cross post to Instagram. But for me, I've found that that's what's working. I'm sure if I got onto TikTok and really developed that out, that would work too. But like, there's only so much you can do
Yeah.
and do well. I don't want to just do quantity. I want to do quality. So
Yeah.
right now I'm just focusing on Instagram, and that's working.
So doing the
Yeah.
quality aspect, do you feel that? I guess obviously, is there a reason why you think that you should do it that way instead of, I guess not multiplying it, but spreading it out to
Well, I
different
mean, if
platforms?
you're able to handle all of that and do all of it very well, more power to you.
Right.
But each platform is slightly different and you need to adjust.
Oh.
And that just all takes time. If you posted the exact same thing across all platforms, it's not going to do as well on different ones. They're all slightly varied.
And there's so many.
So Instagram is a really good aesthetic, especially for food,
Mm,
you know?
like it started out with the pictures, right? And then
Right.
eventually the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so commercials, right? Obviously food and
Yes.
stretchy cheese and all this other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? Mine is very much like I'm not doing super professional. I'm using my iPhone and I'm taking it as soon as it comes out of the oven, I'm taking the photo and then boxing it and handing it off. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing a display and this whole thing and a super expensive photo shoot. I think a lot of the aesthetic that works now is very much that natural, grounded, this is real life.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
It's not now obviously it works for the large name brands because that's what you expect from them,
Interesting.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And then you being in there and making the dough and stuff like that makes it kind of relatable too.
Yeah, exactly. And
Sure,
I
it's
love
like
it.
the
It's
kitchen.
like if I haven't done it for a while, I have to like jump in the kitchen and stretch some dough.
That's cool. Wow. So do you see it expanding, Pat? It's interesting. It's amazing that this was the first one in Texas.
Yeah,
And
first
it's
one in Texas.
here in little old Corpus Christi,
I
Texas.
know.
Wow. Are you going past just the one store, or where do you see yourself going?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I have a gigantic loan and all of that. And I mean, there's tons of room to explore and growing areas and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on the show. How
Thank
much time did we
you.
got, bro? 45 minutes. Awesome. Is there anything you would like to share?
Well, I know one lady had posted something about, I think her question was like getting started and
Oh, yeah.
women or something like that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that, I guess I would really just say, I mean, it depends what you're doing, and it's a little bit different for different industries and stuff like that. But I mean, I think one of the things for my success was that I just kept showing up every day. You know, so it's like I did the holistic wellness for military spouses at first. Find those that do what you want to do well and like learn from them too. Because that is a lot of what I would do. I would read their books or I would watch their content. There's so much free stuff out there now, you know, but don't get distracted by watching everybody's stuff. And a lot of what some of my friends that would be trying to start businesses and stuff and never quite got off the ground was that they just got stuck in sort of consuming and trying to learn and never actually creating and getting started.
Wow.
So
so-
I was never afraid to fail because I knew I was going to. I mean, there's just, you're going to at certain things. But I knew that if I just kept showing up and learning and tweaking and adjusting, that I was ultimately going to be successful. I was just going to fail at little steps along the way.
Did you try a different business venture other than pizza or?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So be consistent. So you're saying do stuff,
Right.
learn along the way.
Yes.
So
Yeah. But that's like, and so when I mean fail, like I'm not necessarily talking like the giant fail, which it could be that too. And don't take that because like my wellness business, I got so much out of it, like publicity wise and like recipes. And I was in magazines and newspapers and all that. But financially, it didn't get me where I needed to be.
wow.
So that felt like a failure.
Oh wow.
But I knew I now had this resume, this rap sheet of keynote speaking that I'd done and so many
wow.
admirable things that I had to realize the value in that and not just look at the failure.
Whoa, wow. Learn from the failure and use that for your next.
Yes. Yeah. And it had opened so many doors for me. Don't be afraid to like reach out to people and touch base with them too. Because a lot of times they want to reconnect or, you know, help in a certain situation.
Wow. So it's almost like you kind of have to humble yourself in that sense and not be proud.
Absolutely.
Too proud to ask
Yeah.
somebody.
And reciprocate. I think
Oh.
that's a lot. I think because I was so supportive of people, like genuinely supportive, it wasn't fake. It wasn't like pushed. I wasn't looking for something out of it. People can feel that.
Oh,
And then
wow.
they want to support you.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. I love that. Like you're helping others, you're doing your thing and people and there's a reciprocation back.
Yes.
And it seems like you found that in our community.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Corpus is great.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I do.
shoot.
Yeah.
So why do you think Corpus is great?
Well, because the people, like literally being military, we lived in so many places, and everybody always says like how supportive the military, especially like the spouses and stuff, are. And I experienced a lot of cattiness, or like, and I think maybe it's because people ultimately weren't happy in certain aspects of their
Cattiness?
life.
What was cattiness?
Like just tearing each other down.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know, rather than lifting them up. And so I found a lot of the opposite of that here. I also try to stay out of the drama.
Of course.
You know, if I see
Yeah.
that or if I see somebody's energy that seems like that is the way that they are,
Oh,
I'm going to go the other direction. I'm not going to get involved with that. So that definitely helps, I think.
you set a boundary. We're talking about boundaries.
Yes. Yeah.
Priscilla says, I need salmon Louis in my life soon. Hawaiian luau calzone, Pam salad, and the sweet chili wings. Oh, sweet
Nice.
chili rings. You got to
Yes.
shout that one out.
That's our classic order.
Night Creature Productions says, hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Corpus is amazing. Like, it is what you make of it, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't, I mean, because, like, we've all have family members that are in I guess not in good spots in Corpus, you know what
Right.
I mean? And there's people that are like, it's a military city also.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you
Yep.
got the base over there and stuff like that. So having these different perspectives, and it's interesting to me how like people from not from here, they end up here,
Yeah.
such as yourself, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, this is a good city, you know, why not, you know?
Right.
It's cool to have that kind of perspective, and I wish I want for a lot of us to be able to leave the city for one, not even for once or every now and then, and come
Yeah.
back and just experience life
appreciation.
outside of it. Yes, exactly. That's what it is.
Yep. And
Appreciation.
driving on the beaches here, at first I was like, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. And then I moved here and I'm like, this is awesome. How did I never do this anywhere before?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Other places
the
don't
actual
let you
beach.
drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Other places you don't drive on the beach. That's like a Texas thing.
Wow. Seriously.
Yes.
Oh my
and
God.
it makes so much sense. It's so perfect.
Yes.
But no, you don't do that anywhere else.
Oh, no kidding, man. We grew up, we would have bonfires out there.
That's so funny.
Oh, yes. It was, oh,
And it's
man.
one of those things where, like, if you went somewhere else and went to the beach, you'd be like, what? We don't get, and then you'd appreciate that Corpus does it. But you just assume everybody drives on the beach.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Sure, it's awesome. So yeah, I think we're coming to an end, and this has been an awesome conversation.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah. Is there any takeaways or anything you would like to share going out?
I don't know.
Let me see. I think I had one, looking back on your journey. Let me see. I have all these papers. I haven't even looked at them. If there was only one thing your customers would know about Sam and Louise, what would it be?
That we are for foodies that enjoy a high quality food experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Homemade, fresh.
You have an
The
audience.
meats don't have any fillers. Like it sounds crazy to say that. You're like, oh no, of course the meats don't. No, most people have really cheap prices because their beef isn't all beef.
Oh, wow.
Their pork's not all pork. It's cut with stuff.
Oh, wow.
Ours pork is pork, beef, all that, high quality cheese. That makes a difference when reheating too. And use an air fryer if you have an air fryer.
Oh,
It's the best way.
yeah, nice. Yeah, heck yeah. It's awesome. So how can listeners connect with Sam and Louise Pizzeria online or in person?
I would say Instagram. It's Sam and Louise Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi. On Facebook too. I mean, you're going to see it all there as well. I share a lot in my stories, and that's
Yes.
how I connect with a lot of people. I share a lot of my everyday life, and I have a lot of conversations with my customers and stuff. And yeah, I mean, let me know if you come in, and I want to say hi.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you get messages from women, which is
Yes,
awesome.
I do.
that's
Yes,
amazing.
connecting.
Yeah, there was somebody that even on one of the posts they were saying, "Oh, we should listen to this." Another person was tagging another person.
Oh, yeah.
This would be cool to
Yeah,
listen
that's
to.
awesome.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts or messages you'd like to share with our audience or your audience?
I would just say no matter how difficult anything feels right now, just keep going, explore your options, take care of yourself, and it's better on the other side.
Yes. Look forward. Keep looking forward. That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, if nothing else, you don't want to share anything else, we'll say goodbye.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So good.
You guys stay tuned for the next ones. Shout out to Maya back there for with the Produce Sound Studios, making this thing look nice. And also check out our sponsor of the show, El Vago Burger and BBQ, 4701 Barrera Drive in Molina. They got some good burgers out there. You should check it out. And yeah, stay tuned for the next couple episodes. I think we're booked until July. Just for some reason, I can never remember who's coming on next. That's probably one thing I should work on. But stay tuned for that. We'll see you later. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Dana, Night Creature Productions, Priscilla, Francesca, everybody for joining. And check out the replay.
Thank you.